be surprised to learn that what you pack for your air travel snacks just might mean the difference between being stressed out, anxious, and bloated, or calm, relaxed, and, well, gas-free. Today, I'm sharing some of the biggest mistakes people make when packing their air travel snacks and what you should do instead. And no, it's not bringing CBD gummies, although I'm not opposed if that helps you get through the flight. And at the end of the video, I'll share a few creative ideas for some easy and healthy travel snacks. Let's go. The first mistake is not packing any snacks at all. So why should you bring your own snacks? Well, unless you are flying on a superior airline or you're going to be seated in first or business class, it's likely you're not going to be served any meals unless you're on a really long haul flight. And even then, the meal's probably not going to be very satisfying and full of unhealthy additives. Although most airlines do offer snacks for purchase these days, those aren't going to be very healthy either and cost you 2 to 3 times what you would pay for in the grocery store. And if you, God forbid, get stuck in the airport due to a long delay or even a cancellation, you don't want to have to fork out the money for their expensive food, if there are any restaurants or lounges even open. This is why I am a big proponent of bringing your own food with you. Even if you decide you want to indulge yourself in an airport plate of nachos, you still have food just in case something else happens. The second mistake is not packing food that is considered a liquid in the liquids bag. TSA considers anything that cannot hold its form outside of its packaging to be a liquid, which means yogurt, hummus, peanut butter, guacamole, pre-made oatmeal, and mashed potatoes all qualify as liquids. If you want to pack any of these items, they will need to be in containers that are 3.4 ounces or less, or 100 milliliters or less, and be put in your liquids bag. Once you're through security, you can just move those items from your liquids bag to your snack bag. If your liquids bag is already full, you might consider these options. Make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Bring some sliced avocados that you can mash later and make into a guacamole. Or bring a baked potato or a baked sweet potato that, again, you can mash later if that's really what you want to be eating. Sometimes you just gotta think out of the box, or out of the liquids bag in this case. The third mistake is packing smelly food like tuna, hard-boiled eggs, kimchi, sauerkraut. Between the recirculating air and the tight quarters in the plane, you might be surprised at how far a bad smell can spread through the plane. So please be courteous of those around you and refrain from bringing smelly foods. You never know if you might be sitting next to a pregnant lady who could end up throwing up all over you. Yeah, that happened. And I was the pregnant lady. Not fun at all. The fourth mistake is packing items with too much sodium. Your body does some funky things when it's flying through the air at high altitudes, like getting really gassy. And this phenomenon actually has a name. It's HAFE, H-A-F-E, which stands for High Altitude Flatus Expulsion. And yes, I had a little giggle when I read that the first time too. Basically what happens is that as the plane ascends and the air pressure in the cabin goes down, the gas in your intestines expands, sort of like the air in your water bottle when you open your water bottle and it spouts all over the place. So if you continue to eat salty foods, which dehydrate you, and drink carbonated beverages while you're in flight, you're going to be adding more gas to your belly. And then as the plane starts to descend for its landing, the gas in your body needs to go somewhere, which is why you'll feel the need to let one fly or maybe even burp the alphabet.
She's the only one that knows how to burp the alphabet.
And if you've really indulged in gas-producing foods, you will probably feel pretty bloated for a few days after you land, while your body continues to work to get rid of that extra gas. So you want to limit drinking too many or any sodas in flight and reduce your salt intake, like from chips and nuts. And yes, I said nuts. Now, before y'all start screaming at me in the comments about how I am out to kill anyone with a nut allergy because my hunger is too important to me, I want to direct you to this article from the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, where they discuss that multiple studies have been done regarding whether it is possible for a person with a severe allergy to be affected by the dust particles circulating in the air. And the overwhelming answer after multiple studies, current studies have been done, is no. Now, I am extremely empathetic to anyone who has a severe nut allergy or has a child with a severe nut allergy or any allergies. One of my dear good friends is severely allergic to hazelnuts. But as long as I'm not force feeding her hazelnuts, I can sit beside her and have a hazelnut dessert and it doesn't affect her. And of course, I know y'all are going to be respectful. And if someone is sitting next to you and they tell you or share with you that they have a nut allergy and could you please refrain from eating nuts next to them, you're going to be polite and put those nuts away until later. One last note while we're on this topic, if I haven't lost you already, if you do have a severe allergy or someone you are traveling with has a severe allergy, most airlines do require that you inform them 48 hours before your flight. They do have the authority to turn you away from the flight if you show up just before you board and tell them you have a severe allergy, because then they might deem it a risk for the flight. So you want to make sure that you give them a heads up so that they can handle it the proper way. Okay, enough of the serious stuff. Let's get back to why you're really here. The fifth mistake is packing aspirational snacks. If you don't eat or crave the food on a regular basis at home, you're probably not going to really want to eat it while you are traveling. I've made this mistake so many times, and I end up spending more money than I should eating those airport nachos, which are such a bad choice for so many reasons. The sixth mistake is packing food that can't be brought into other countries or even some states. Many countries don't allow foreign meat or dairy or even honey in some cases to be brought through customs. And in the United States, you can't bring most fruit into Hawaii. So if you are planning on packing any of these items for your snacks, just make sure that you finish them or dispose of them before you go through customs, because they're going to make you throw it away anyway. The seventh mistake is not packing something to keep your dairy and meat products cool. While most of the snacks I usually bring with me can be left unrefrigerated for a while, in the summer, it's not a bad idea to have something to help keep the food cool, especially since you never know what the temperature is going to be on the plane. I have a couple of travel hacks that will help with this. And the first one is the easiest one, and that is to pack frozen grapes with the food that contains meat or dairy. Just put the frozen grapes in a Ziploc bag and tuck them inside the container with the other food. The second hack is to get one of those cheap sponges, let it sit in some water for a bit to absorb as much of the liquid as it can, squeeze it out lightly, then put it in the freezer for a few hours or overnight until it's frozen. Throw it in a Ziploc bag and put the sponge or multiple sponges with your semi-perishable foods. And I say semi because I don't encourage you to bring perishables with you. It's just too hard to keep them fresh. Make sure if there's any condensation in the baggie of the sponge when you get to the airport before you go through TSA, you're going to want to dump that little bit of water out. And lastly, of course, you can freeze a water bottle, and as long as there's no melted water or condensation in the bottle, it can go through TSA just fine. If you don't want to pack just granola bars and string cheese, here are a few out-of-the-box ideas for travel snacks that you could put your own creative twist to. The first one is instant oatmeal. Pack up a package of instant oatmeal, have a banana that you've sliced in half, maybe some powdered peanut butter, hemp seeds, and some blueberries that you can put in there. Once you get through TSA or when you are on board the airplane, and yes, I know this whole water thing on the planes, I've never had any stomach issues from drinking coffee or tea from getting my water on the airplane. So, you know, it's up to the individual how you trust the plain water or not. But basically, once you get on the plane, you could ask for some hot water, and then you can mix up and make a delicious oatmeal dish for yourself if you'd like. You could also get hot water from somewhere like Starbucks in the airport if you wanted to do it before you get on board. The second idea is to make your own avocado toast. Bring some of these hearty crackers that are bigger crackers, or you could even bring bread that's already been toasted if you want. I find that toast after a while, like if toast has been sitting around for a minute or two, it's just not that good. In fact, I don't really even like at home letting my toast sit for very long. So anyway, you want to take those large crackers or toast, and you can take that sliced avocado that you brought and you can mash that up and make a spread. I like to use this green salt that's made from sea beans, so it's not high in sodium. So I get the salt flavor and the salt taste without adding more sodium to my diet. This just makes a nice hearty little lunch or snack idea, and it's really not too hard to put this together on your tray table. The third idea is to just make some easy pinwheel sandwiches. I really like to make veggie pinwheels because, again, it doesn't have as much perishable foods in there, so it will last a little bit longer. So I'll take a couple of tortilla shells and kind of layer them on, you know, one over the other, so I have a longer pinwheel to cut. And then I will spread it with some hummus, and I'll add some spinach and some carrots and some avocado, maybe sprinkle some hemp seeds in there. I really like using hemp seeds. They have so many good antioxidants. And then roll it up and slice it into little pinwheels, and then put it in your container to bring along. The fourth idea is a rice bowl. Y'all, I have to admit to a guilty pleasure of mine. I get these little containers from Taco Bell. That's right. I'm a Taco Bell lover. Now, I don't go very often. In fact, it's probably been a couple of months since the last time I went. But I do like getting, I love their bean and cheese burritos, and occasionally I'll get a healthier rice bowl from there, which is where I've gotten these containers from. And they're a perfect size to take on the airplane. So I like to save them, but I have to admit, my guilty pleasure sometimes is making a run for the border. Are any of you out there Taco Bell lovers? I know there's a lot of people who hate Taco Bell, but yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. I love them, have since high school. So you can just have pre-made rice. I, again, don't really want to bring perishable foods, so I would use like some roasted chickpeas, some edamame, cucumber sliced up, a little pickled ginger, some carrots, some red peppers, and just make a nice little rice bowl that it doesn't matter if you're eating it at room temperature. It doesn't really have anything in it that needs to be kept cool. And for this, I would like pick up some of those soy sauce packages that you can get at a restaurant or even at the grocery store, like Publix does sushi. So they have the little packets of soy sauce that you can grab, and grab, you know, a couple of those and put those in your liquids bag. And then once you're through TSA, you know, you can switch them over to your snack bag, and you can use that soy sauce to flavor your rice bowl. And the last suggestion I have for you is to make something like these ham and egg muffins, which are super hearty muffins that have a lot of protein in them. This recipe is actually from the kitchen, and I will have it linked in the description below. In fact, anything that I've talked about in this video, I'll have linked in the description below and in the first pinned comment once the video is published. It's easy to make these muffins ahead of time. And you could just add these 2 muffins or 3 muffins, however many you think you need to eat, and add some fruit and maybe a granola bar or just some granola in with that little snack package, and have a nice hearty little breakfast snack. In this video here, I share my hacks for leveling up your travel snacks.